Live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I am streaming to you from the center of Europe. I hope everybody is staying safe and healthy going into the weekend. Hi Khyber. Hi Nur Jahan Priya. Hi Violet. Nice to see many of our regular students in the class. Today we are focusing on task 2 writing. It's kind of the same for academic and general exams, so lots to learn for both. We're going for that perfect Band 9 essay today. While we wait for some more of your peers, this lesson is brought to you by aehelp.com. For academic IELTS, check us out there to improve your communication in English. Join our premium package. For general IELTS, check us out at gieltshelp.com. And again, join our premium package. I'll show you those websites super quick. This is the academic one here with the blue background. Click that big red button to join us there. And for the general version, it's the green background. Click that big red button to join and get our videos, practice exams, and interactive course for your phone, tablet, and PC. If you have questions, students, feel free to send me an email to adrian@aehelp.com. I see a lot of our members joining in as well. Hi, Rajveer, Abhishek, Elena, Hemant, and Ferdaz. Nice to see you in the class. To become a member of the channel, click the join button beside the subscribe button. Tomorrow, students, members, Q&A, question and answer session. So make sure you're there, ready with your questions, and that will be followed by speaking part 3 for everyone. All right, let's get into today's task 2 writing. I'm gonna increase the size here a little bit. Here we go. All right, your first step for task 2 success is always to read the question carefully. Don't rush it, okay? Don't try to rush through the question. Read it carefully. Let's read it together. IELTS Task 2 Writing. You should spend about 40 minutes on this task. Some parents feel that it is important to protect their children from all possible dangers, while other parents believe that letting their children take certain risks is important for development. Discuss both views and give your own opinion. And then, of course, this is usually followed by one more sentence, which is give explanations and examples from your own experience. All right. So, when you're doing this at home, and even during the official exam, take a minute or two to paraphrase the question. When you paraphrase the question, you make sure that you understand the question, you think more about the question, you gather some useful vocabulary for the essay. Paraphrasing the question is not your introductory paragraph, okay? It might be a part of it, but it's not your introductory paragraph, okay? Again, I said this in yesterday's class. Do not use template style writing. So do not use a cookie cutter template style writing, because those will not get you the highest band scores. Hi Eugene, thanks for the emojis. I'm feeling pretty good. Hope everybody else is also. So let's paraphrase this question. Use as many different words as possible from the original and make sure that we understand it. I'm going to do the same and then we'll compare, okay? So certain All right. So there is my paraphrase. I was looking at the original sentences, thinking of how I can use other words to make sure that I understand it. So again, here's the original. Some parents feel that it is important to protect their children from all possible dangers, while other parents believe that letting their children take certain risks is important for development. Discuss both views and give your own opinion. I wrote, certain guardians of children feel it is necessary to shelter their offspring from all hazardous circumstances, while others ascertain that letting their kids take some risks is required for positive growth. Explain both sides and provide your own position. All right, I'm using some fancier vocabulary there, but that's okay if you don't know those words. Just use the words that you know, or the expressions, phrasal verbs that you know. All right? Okay, let's take a look at what some of you have written. Rajveer says, some mothers and fathers believe that safeguarding children from potential risks is vital for their children. However, others feel that it is beneficial for children's development. Explain both sides and give your opinion. Okay, Rajveer, that's good. I like the word safeguarding. I like the word fathers and mothers instead of parents. You're going into descriptive paraphrasing. Fantastic. Elena says certain parents feel that it is imperative to protect their offspring from every dire situation, period. In contrast, many guardians argue that certain risks help children to become strong and daring both mentally and physically. Okay, Elena, that's not really paraphrasing that part. There you're kind of giving your thesis statement almost. Review both sides and take a stand on one. Otherwise, it's quite good, Elena, but I think you're expressing ideas which are not in the original question. So arguing that these risks help children to become mentally and physically more fit or able, I think you're adding that from your own knowledge, and that's okay for the essay, but it's not the paraphrase, so careful. Bhumi says certain individuals believe that it is crucial to safeguard their children from all possible risks. However, that should be a new sentence, Bhumi. However, other parents state that children should be allowed to take some difficult challenges on for their own development. Okay, good, Bhumi. Bhumi, safeguard one word, like Elena wrote. Okay. Tural Ismailov says, although certain individuals consider that children should be protected from all potential hazards, others believe that people ought to let their children face risks as it helps their growth. Refinement, not the right word, Tural, there, but a good try. Okay. All right. Nicely done, students. Nicely done. So now that we've done this, let's identify the topic. So what are we talking about? Or what are we writing about is more accurate. And the controlling ideas. The controlling ideas is what exactly are we writing about the topic? Okay, so those are the questions that you should answer. It's very important for clarity. Okay. Begzad, we don't support both sides. So Begzad Erkinov is asking, should we support both sides? No, no, no. Discuss both sides, support one side. Okay. All right. So Tito is saying that the topic here is hazardous circumstances. Okay. Begjan is saying that the topic is raising children. Rajveer is saying the topic is protecting children from possible danger. Interesting. It's a bit of a tricky one. Different people are coming up with different topics. So that's kind of interesting. We should have the same one. There's really only one topic here. Elena is saying parents and children coordination. Yeah, okay. A little bit of a tricky one here, students. So before you begin your essay, be confident that you have the right topic. Okay, it's very important. Otherwise, you could really go off topic and get a low band score, even with high level English. So make sure that you are discussing the right topic before you begin writing, even if it takes you 5 minutes. I would say that yeah, okay, Charlie, I think you're the closest there. So Charlie Sen says parenting strategy. Yeah. So I would say the topic is parenting strategy. I agree, Charlie. Or effective child rearing. Okay. So I would say the topic here is effective child rearing. So the best way to raise children. Okay. Child rearing means parenting. Okay. Another way you could say it is effective parenting or effective parenting strategy. Right? Charlie? Very good. Okay. And then what are the controlling ideas? Okay. So the topic is effective child rearing or effective parenting strategy. Those are good. And what in connection? Irene Domingo, rearing means raising children in this case. So effective child raising children. Okay, but we say child rearing. Okay, and what is the controlling idea? Shirojidin, you should write about both sides, but only support one side. That's what the question is asking you. Okay, all right. So hopefully you come up with the same controlling idea. Don't be shy, students. It's okay to make mistakes. So get your ideas out. Okay, so Nigaman says, should parents always protect their children or not? Yeah, so Rajveer says, should parents safeguard children or expose them to risk? Good. So is it better to safeguard children from all harm or expose them to some risk? All right. Good. So now let's go through the what, why, hows. I'm going to be a little bit faster here. I really want to get into our writing today. So our topic, what is effective child rearing practices? Okay. And the answer, come up with the answer here, students. So I'm going to give you a couple seconds head start. Then I'm going to start writing just so that we can really move along here. Okay. So what is effective child rearing practices? What is that? Not why, not how, but what is it? What is it? Okay. So it's different parenting behaviors which lead to a positive outcome in the development of children. Okay, the next question, why are these important? So why are, and again, at home, you want to be as specific. So why are effective parenting strategies important? Now, even if the answers seem given, seem obvious, you still want to go through these steps. In the real exam, you don't have time to do this on paper, of course, but you should do it in your head in the real exam. When you're practicing at home, you should do this on paper so that you can develop your thinking for the exam, okay? So at home, do it on paper so you can develop your thinking for the exam. We're not born with these strategies. So Elena says that the reason why is to make a better future for the children. Yeah, and they're also the future of the human species, right? To empower a bright future for children as they are the future of the human species. Yeah, that's why we feel that these are important. And how are effective parenting strategies implemented? So how do parents do this? Okay, so how do parents create these effective parenting strategies? Now, you're probably realizing why it's so important to have the correct topic, because if you don't have the right topic here, then you're already thinking in the wrong direction. So that's why it's so important to come up with the right topic, and sometimes that can be challenging. So be really, really careful. So how do we do this? Elena says we discipline them. Okay. Boomy says we pass on our knowledge and values. Yeah, absolutely. So through verbal communication, we praise good behavior and punish bad behavior. Parents also lead by example. And believe me, when I say this to all of you out there, I'm sure many of you are parents as well. Some of you are not. I'm a parent. I have a 4-year-old little girl. And this is probably by far the most important one for parenting, on how to be an effective parent. You can say a lot, you can show a lot, but that's very ineffective compared to leading by example. So if you show, or if you do what you want your child to do, it's much more likely that you're going to be successful. I'm sure those of you who are parents out there will agree with me that leading by example is the most effective method. Okay, so far so good. Girls and guys, I think we're rolling along nicely. And we're going to get into our writing, the introduction, body, and so on soon enough. Let's get into the what, why, hows of the controlling ideas. We're going to condense this a little bit. So I think many of you can come up with the answer for what is letting children take risks and what is protecting children from all harm. So let's get into the why questions right away. So why would parents want to protect their children from all possible danger? Why? Why would they do that? So if you're a parent, why would you just try to stop any harm from becoming a reality for your child? What's the logic there? And again, I'm going to give you a little bit of a head start. I'm liking a lot of your answers to the previous questions. Okay. So Tito says, because they care for them and they love them. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So they care for them. They love them. You don't want to see your children get hurt or injured. I think that's a good answer. So why would parents want to let their children take some risks? Okay. So why would, yeah, exactly, Boomy. They don't want them to suffer. They don't want them to be hurt or injured. And why would parents want to let their children take risks? What's the logic there? If I love my child so much, why would I let them take risk? Marie Alba, very nice. To gain knowledge of consequence and to build independence. Yeah. Consequence, right? Cause and effect. Action, reaction. Okay. Abhishek says to have them learn life lessons. Sure, but Abhishek, that's very abstract. It's very difficult for a reader to understand what you mean by life lessons. Okay? So to gain knowledge of consequence and to build independence. Sure, that's good. All right, let's think of a couple of quick hows. So how can we protect children from all harm? Oh, that's an interesting question. I'm sure many parents ask themselves. So how can we do it? How can you protect your children? Well, there's a funny idiom in English that I'll teach you with this one. Become a helicopter parent. Okay? So always be present and prevent children from engaging in risky behavior. Okay? The type of parent that's always floating around their child, so the type of parent who is always within half a meter of their child, wherever they are, and they're always calling them on their phone, and they're always sending them text messages, and they're always checking up on them. That's called a helicopter parent. Okay, we call that a helicopter parent. These days, that's almost possible physically with drones. You can just fly a drone over top of your child all day long, right? So, okay. So being a helicopter parent, always being present, preventing any kind of risky behavior, limiting the behavior of children, right? That's how. So how can we, maybe the better question, how can we allow or how can we let children engage in some risky behavior? Okay? And of course, you might come up with some of the opposites here, right? Don't interfere with every risky behavior. Give space to children. All right. We're moving along nicely, and I'm seeing a lot of nice answers from a lot of the students in the chat. That's great. Keep it going. I might not read many of your comments that you're putting in the chat, but that doesn't mean that you're not learning by putting those in there. So don't get discouraged if I'm not reading all of your comments, okay? I like Marie Alba's. I think, Alba, are you a parent? Marie Alba says, build trust with your children, which is very good. If you're not, Marie, you're going to make a great parent, I'm sure. All right. Irene Domingo says, give them some freedom, some breathing room, right? Some breathing room, Irene. Some independence. Okay, good. All right. So we're rolling along nicely, and I think that most of us now probably have a good idea of what's happening and the information. We're probably all starting to visualize this information now, which is great. Of course, if you are a parent, it helps with this question for sure. But if you're not, just think about what your parents do for you, okay? So the next step is your thesis statement. And your thesis statement is the last sentence of your introductory paragraph that establishes your argument and outlines the content and structure of your essay, among, of course, many other important details. So it has to be a direct thesis, okay? And again, it's a good idea to reread the question before you write your thesis. So even in your official IELTS exam, when you're going through the planning in your head, you're paraphrasing the question, you're thinking about the topic, the controlling idea, the what, why, how, and you've taken maybe a couple minutes to do that, 2 minutes. Okay, that's going to save you a lot of time in the end, those 2-3 minutes, and it will increase your band score. So take the 2-3 minutes, and you've taken these 2-3 minutes, and you're like, okay, I have my thesis in my head. I'm ready to write it down. Okay, maybe you start with the hook and the background first, and you just keep the thesis in your head. In either case, reread the question nice and quick. Okay. Quality is better than quantity. You have to write 250 words. Band 8, Band 9 essays are 300, 350 words usually on the IELTS. But again, it's better to write 250 words of good quality writing than 300 words of poor quality writing. So quality will always do better than quantity on the exam. Even if you write under 250 words and you lose a little bit of score for incomplete task, if you have good quality writing, you'll still do better than 250 words of low quality. Okay? All right, so I'm going to read the question, then I'll read some of your thesis statements. So some parents feel that it is important to protect their children from all possible dangers, while other parents believe that letting their children take certain risks is important for development. Discuss both views. Give your own opinion. Okay. And connecting with my ideas, I know I'm on the right track here. I have a good thesis in mind. So I'm going to write it in 2 moments, but first I'll read a few of your thesis statements. Let's see if any of you have come up with some nice thesis statements to answer this question. All right. Tito says, some guardians believe that they should protect children all the time, but others think that they should give them some space for their betterment. Tito, that's just a paraphrase of the question. That's not your thesis statement. Okay. Flower Sun says, good as possible. However, some children... Okay, let me see the beginning of that, Flower Sun. Just a sec. Flower Sun says, children should be safeguarded and looked after as much as possible. However, some children need to have experience. Some say children need to experience difficult situations. In my opinion, I believe that it's important for children to learn independence by going through risk. Okay, Flower Sun, you want to really work hard to be more concise. So you're using a lot more words than you need to express that idea. Be more concise, okay? All right. Ferdovs Nabiev says, although certain guardians of children feel it is essential to secure their kids, I deem that letting offspring take certain risks is not only important for children to learn independence, but also be aware of consequences. Good, Ferdovs. You're picking up on those why answers. Fantastic. Good for you. Rajveer says, many parents support preventing their children from risky situations, while others, myself included, believe that such dangers enable holistic development of their offspring through independence and trust. Okay. Not bad, Rajveer. Not bad. I'd like to see where you go with that. Elena says, these days, many parents try to safeguard their children more and more, which is good for the parents. However, protecting them too much also means invading children's independence and lowering their self-esteem. Okay, not bad, Elena. I'd like to see where you go with that. Lynn says, of course, children need to be protected, but it is necessary for them to face risks that they can handle with. Okay, that's a little bit too simple, Lynn. It's unclear where you're going with the essay. Boomy says, although certain guardians of children believe that they should protect them from difficult situations because of love and care. Okay, Boomy, I see the first half. I'm guessing your second half is coming after. I would write this. So certain parents feel it is best to protect their offspring from all dangers, as they do not want their children to experience pain and difficulty. However, other guardians choose to let their kids or their children partake in some risky behaviors so that they develop a sense of consequence and independence. Personally, I support the latter. All right, so here I wanted to show you that your thesis doesn't have to be one sentence. It can easily be 3 sentences like this, okay? Certain parents feel it is best to protect their offspring from all dangers, as they do not want their children to experience pain and difficulty. However, other guardians choose to let their children partake in some risky behaviors so that they develop a sense of consequence and independence. Personally, I support the latter. Okay, so here my body paragraph 1 will be about this. My body paragraph 2 will be about this. Okay, now notice that I'm giving my reader a very clear sense of structure and direction with this 3-sentence thesis for the introduction. Okay, all right. So all I have to do now is I have to plug in a background and a hook beforehand. Okay, so we're going to complete our introductory paragraph. And our introductory paragraph, if you're looking for a band 7 or higher, or you want to get a band 7 in a simpler way, make sure that you have a good hook, a good background before your thesis, okay? So, hook, interesting statement about the topic. And it's simple. Okay? So give me a nice simple hook about the topic. Remember your topic? Again, it's why it's important to have the right topic. So it's effective child rearing or effective parenting strategy. Give me some good hook statements, students. Just a clear, quick statement about effective parenting. Okay? Beckjohn says, nowadays, many parents are concerned about the way to raise their children more than ever before. Yeah, Beckjohn, you don't even need that last part. So nowadays, many parents are increasingly concerned about the right parenting strategies. Okay? Ferdovs, I really like it. Ferdovs Nabiev says, effective child rearing is always arguable. Yeah, we can agree with that. So most of your readers will say, yeah, that's true. People always argue about how to raise children. Yeah, very nice, Ferdovs. I like that. That's a high quality hook by any standard. Okay, very well done. Simple, but very effective, Ferdovs. Very good. Karen, all parents care for their children so they can be healthy and successful in life. Okay, Karen, that's more about parents caring for their children rather than effective parenting strategy. So you're not quite on the right topic, Karen Beer. Careful with that. Also, pupils are students, not children. Okay, so careful with that word. Elena, I like it. That's the one that kind of came to my mind. Children are the future of the world, so effective parenting strategies are important, right? Elena, it's a good idea, but don't forget that the topic is effective parenting strategy. So try to tie that in with your ideas, okay? Boomy says parents are the primary people responsible for their children's development. Okay, I have to change that a little bit, Boomy. Charlie, I like it. Parenting is a challenging job. Okay. How about this, Charlie? So you're getting some good ideas there. How about this? Yeah, it's a little bit argumentative, Charlie, but it is a nice hook. I like it as well. Okay, so I would write something like parenting effectively is a very challenging job. Okay, that's a great hook. Super simple. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 words. It's a 7-word hook where your examiner, when they read it, they'll go, aha, here is a student who knows correct essay structure, has obviously had experience planning and thinking of essays, and is really controlling this response. So parenting effectively is a very challenging job. All right, great. Now, background. Definitions and importance. Okay, so this is where we write down what is parenting. Okay, so we can use what we had in our planning, right? So what is parenting? How is parenting done? Right? Verbal communication, punishing bad behavior, leading by example, that's parenting, right? So some of you said educating as well. That's good. All right. And why is it important? Well, because we love our children and they are the future. So that's what you want to put together and include into the background. That will make the ideas clear for your reader and will hold your reader's attention until they get to your thesis, the argument. Okay, it's good. All right. So let's continue with that. Shiro Dijin, you can use the word mission instead of job in that hook for sure. All right. Vincent Paul Centineo, effective parenting strategies lead to good people in the community. It's good. Okay, just watch for that correction. Okay. So guardians take care of their children through verbal communication. Okay, maybe raise their children. And this is where I would write mums and dads or mothers and fathers. Okay, Rajveer, instead of guardians. Guardians is a little bit awkward for parents, but it's okay. All right, so mothers and fathers work around the clock through both verbal communication and leading by example to aid the development of their children as best they can. They do this out of love and in hopes of building a happy and successful future generation. All right, so this is now my Band 9 introductory paragraph. It has the hook, it has the background, and it has the thesis. Here we go, students. Let's read this, see if it makes sense. Parenting effectively is a very challenging job. Mothers and fathers work around the clock through both verbal communication and leading by example to aid the development of their children as best they can. They do this out of love and in hopes of building a happy and successful future generation. Certain parents feel it is best to protect their offspring from all dangers as they do not want their children to experience pain and difficulty. However, other guardians choose to let their children partake in some risky behaviors so that they develop a sense of consequence and independence. Personally, I support the latter. All right, pretty good. If I reviewed that, I'd probably change a couple words, but yeah, it's looking good for right now. We're ready to get into our body paragraph. So, body paragraph, we simply develop our first thesis point, which is to protect children from all harm. Okay, so body paragraph. 1, topic, sentence, protect kids from all harm. All right, so write some topic sentences for me here, students. So your body paragraph has a topic sentence. It basically tells your reader what your paragraph is about, and it's your first point in your thesis. So certain parents feel it is best to protect their offspring from all dangers. Okay, so that's your first topic sentence. That's what your first body paragraph is about. Here you want to write a sentence that defines and clarifies this point for your reader even further. Okay? Give me these sentences. So give me your topic sentence. Give you a little bit of a head start, and then I'll do the same. Okay, so all right, there's mine. Let's see what you came up with. Elena says, first and foremost responsibility of parents is to protect their children. I think it's a bit too general, Elena. Let's see. Ferdov says, developed a sense of consequence, help children avoid mistakes in future life. Okay, Ferdov, I think you're going for your thesis there still. All right, let's see what others are coming up with. Charlie says, parents look after their children to protect them from all sorts of difficult situations. A little bit general, Charlie. Try to be more specific. Rajveer says, parents always want to see their children happy and remove any challenging behaviors. Rajveer, challenging behaviors and dangerous situations are not the same. Okay, solving a math problem or some kind of a toy puzzle, for example, would be a challenging behavior. So that's not quite the same. Okay. Nigam says, a multitude of parents believe that the foremost responsibility of raising children is protection. That's better. It's more on the right track. I think you can give a little bit more there, Nigam, but you're right. Okay. Bobby Singh, deed means action in this case. Bhumi says, parents look after their children like satellites to protect them from all dangerous situations. Okay, Bhumi, I like that you're using the word satellite there. Satellite parents or helicopter parents, sure. Mr. Bob says, parents tend to protect their children from all detrimental contexts which interfere with adequate development. I'm not sure where you're going with the last sentence there, Mr. Bob, but it's not a bad try. Lynn says, protecting offspring from all risks is the mission of some guardians. Okay. Hemant says, parents prefer their children to be risk-free and they keep much better care of them due to their love towards them. All right. Okay, not bad. I think, you can still work on these topic sentences a bit. Maybe practice some of that at home. And then, of course, we want to give an explanation here. So what do we mean that parents intervene in any and all activity that they deem, deem here means judge. Okay, somebody asked me what the word deem means. Deem means to judge, that they judge to be hazardous for their children's mental or physical well-being. Okay, so notice the difference in my topic sentence. Basically what I'm doing here is I use the word intervene, which means they interfere. So, oh, look, my child is riding a bicycle. Nope, no riding a bicycle. You might fall off and die. And then I'm also introducing the concept of mental and physical well-being. So not just interfering in the physical situations like riding the bicycle, but also in other situations that affects the child's thinking. Like, oh, don't argue with your sister because you guys are going to get depressed and be really sad after, so you go to your room. Okay. Irene, deem means judge. Okay. I think a few of you asked me that, so I'm going to write it up here. Okay. Deem, judge. All right. Okay, so explanation. Explain this concept. Okay. So most parents feel terrible when they see their child suffering. Therefore, they want to avoid this negative emotion by taking preventative measures to keep children out of harm's way. Also, parents feel that both mental or psychological, I don't want to repeat words here, and physiological trauma is just a negative for their offspring's development. Okay, so here I am explaining the reason for this behavior. Okay. Bobby, trauma means like injury. Okay. Injury. All right. Here we go. So topic sentence explanation. So far, so good. Now I want to come up with an example. There are those parents who forbid their children from doing any activity such as playing football, riding a bike, or watching violent movies that have possible negative outcomes, like breaking a leg. Okay? All right. So that's your example. And then you want a connecting sentence. So I'm finishing this up. I'm sure many of you are thinking of your examples here and your connecting sentences, which is great. But I'd really like to get to the bottom of this body paragraph 1, just so you can kind of see where we're going with this. So a concluding and connecting sentence here could be, however, there are benefits to risk-taking which must not be ignored. All right. So here is my body paragraph 1. I'm going to read it from top to bottom. Make sure it makes sense before I move on to body paragraph 2. Many parents intervene in any and all activity that they deem to be hazardous for their children's mental or physical well-being. Most parents feel terrible when they see their child suffer. Therefore, they want to avoid this negative emotion by taking preventative measures to keep children out of harm's way. Also, parents feel that both psychological and physiological trauma is just a negative for their offspring's development. There are those parents who forbid their children from doing any activity, such as playing football, riding a bike, or watching a violent movie, that have possible negative outcomes, like breaking a leg. However, there are benefits to risk-taking which must not be ignored. And then I go on to my body paragraph 2, which is the other group of parents who allow their children to take some risks, whereby I include the idea of developing independence and an idea for consequence. And of course, making sure that I include my own opinion, that I support that side. That part, so body 2, plus the conclusion, will be available on this YouTube channel community board later this week. Okay, so as a homework challenge, finish this essay on your own. Okay, and then in a few days, 3-4 days, take a look at this channel's YouTube community board to see my finish for the essay, so the second body paragraph and the conclusion, and then you can compare them and see if yours makes sense, somewhat similar, maybe different, but still good, okay, or if it's off topic, all right? So that's what you can do. Anyhow, keep in mind that the introduction has a hook, background, thesis. The thesis is direct. Okay. Yes, absolutely, Charlie. You can write your own experience as an example. In fact, Charlie, that's a good idea because it's a first-person essay. So good question, Charlie. And then the body paragraphs have a topic sentence, explanation, example, and a connecting sentence. Okay. So keep that in mind. Okay. All right. For everybody watching, to see full Task 2 videos in HD, several examples, as well as interactive lessons for writing, check out our premium package at aehelp.com for academic IELTS and gieltshelp.com for general. That's it for today. Again, tomorrow I will be back at the same time with speaking part 3, sample questions, answers, and strategy. And of course, members, preceding that class will be a question and answer session, so make sure that you're present. You're very welcome, everyone. Have a great start to your weekend, and hopefully I'll see most of you tomorrow. Much love from the heart of Budapest. Keep up the good studies and believe in yourselves.